I'm just waiting on the live right now. It's going. Here we are.
Change the title.
All right. All right. In five, four,
Before you go,
three.
change the title on your thing because it says Nicholas Mario's Zoom meeting. Change it to that what we're actually talking about.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yes, because I see the notification come up on my iPad. So you want to change it to like what is it, college game day, whatever we're talking about.
You talking about mine?
Yes, because I just saw it come up, the notification of Squadcast come up on my iPad. It said Nicholas Mario's Zoom meeting. We're going live.
I'll change it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
You see what I'm talking about now?
Yep.
All right.
We live. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again to Squadcast, the Squad Sportcast, episode 2. Every game, every era, every fan. You are now tuned in and listening to the Squad Sportcast. 4 brothers, 1 mic, all sports. Thank you all for your likes, your views, your subscriptions, your shares that help make episode 1 a great success. From the looks of things, there was a lot of Bears fans that kind of appreciated my commentary. I need y'all to understand I am not a Bears fan. Peep the hat game. Yeah, I'm Eagles fan out here. Some people took Mike's comments a little bit too much to heart. Didn't like how they were speaking about the reigning MVP, the quote-unquote Lord and Savior, Josh Allen. And then Jordan over here, he gave some amazing takes out here. Really appreciate those takes, Jordan. Thank you for not helping us crash out early in the season. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into it, shall we? So, as we all know, we are coming on the finale of the college football playoffs. The championship round is here, and this episode is going to be dedicated to the greatness that's going to be coming up on Monday. First up, let's look at the teams. We have your Miami Hurricanes versus the Indiana Hoosiers. I hope I said that right. Of course, Miami is the ACC unlikely that the next body picked, but it looks like they're ready to kick butt and take names. And unfortunately, they know who their names are. So I got my notes right here. Of course, Indiana Hoosiers were 15-0. They're currently undefeated. They're the only perfect team left, currently the number 1 overall seed. First appearance at a national title game. They have some dominant playoff wins in the college playoffs, including huge wins over Alabama and Oregon. Of course, you have Fernando Mendoza, who is the current Heisman Trophy winner, and he is the quarterback that is driving Indiana's high-powered offense. Their opponent, Miami Hurricanes, current record is 13-2, the number 10 seed in the playoffs. They had some narrow playoff victories, including a dramatic win over Ole Miss to get them to this game today. Multiple national historic titles. The most famous one, of course, is that 2001 Miami's team. This is their first appearance in the championship in many, many years. So let's talk about it. Let's break it down. Let's start with our man, Mike. What you think about the 2 teams we have? Let's get into it.
You know, I'm actually really excited about this game because I think it's an opportunity for Indiana to show just how dominant not only they are, but how dominant the Big Ten is. What I'll say is that the momentum has shifted, the tide has shifted, whatever phrase you want to say, but the SEC no more is the number 1 dog there. I know historically speaking, they were the team to beat and they got voted in with the BCS and the former four person playoff. And you had the run of Alabama, you had the run of LSU, etc. What I'm here to say is that that run is clearly no longer happening. 3 years in a row, and there's not an SEC team that's even in the national championship game. I have Indiana winning this game, and I have them winning this game pretty big. I think they're going to win by at least 2 touchdowns. This is why I say this. Miami is completely reliant upon their defense. They have a great defense. I like Ruben Bain out there. I like how their linebackers are playing. I like their safeties. They have a really good defensive team. They're very opportunistic. They get a lot of turnovers actually as well. Here's what I don't like about and I really like their run game. I don't trust Carson Beck. I know that he's a national champion. I'm not here to diminish that, but I don't trust Carson Beck to do enough to beat Alabama. I also don't think that Miami has enough weapons on the side there in order to actually compete with Indiana. Indiana looks like the team to beat. They're reminding me a lot of that team with Joe Burrow and LSU. Not that they had that many studs. That's not what I'm saying. 'Cause they are not a bunch of 5 stars that are just surrounding them, with the Jamar Chases of the worlds and, just having this crazy roster. But the way that they play, the style that they play, how dynamic they are, what their run game looks like, for me, that tells me that honestly, Indiana is definitely going to win. They're going to be the national champion. They beat Ohio State, who I had favored to win the national championship. I think they would have smacked up on pretty much any team that they came across. They beat Bama 38-3. That was such a demoralizing loss for the SEC fanboys out there. But what I'll tell you is that Indiana looks legit. And most importantly, they have a fantastic coach. Kurt Signetti is probably going to go down as one of the all-time coaches if he continues on this type of run when it's all said and done. That doesn't mean if next year that he loses 3 games, he's all-time. That's not what I'm saying. But if he continues this level of dominance, this level of preparation, this level of getting the most out of 3-star and 4-star players and athletes, he's going to go down in that upper echelon. Now, the only interesting thing is that he's a bit older. I think he's 63 years old. So the question is, how long is he going to be coaching? How long is he going to be in the college ranks, specifically coaching? Is he going to move up to the NFL? I guess time's going to tell, especially because there's a big coaching cycle happening right now. But I've got Indiana winning by 2 touchdowns.
All right, you heard it here first. Mike got Indiana winning by 2 and things. Jordan, you're up next. Let me know how you're feeling. Give me some intake out here. Need to know what we looking at.
Jordan might be on mute again. Jordan, you on mute?
As we're waiting on him, if you are in the comment section, still can't hear you, Jordan.
Good? We good now?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Let's rock. Let's rock. So I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm an Alabama fan, so I'm still a bit salty about how we lost in the fashion that we did to Indiana. I'm not even going to hold you. We lost bad. I think 36-3. But we were playing on house money anyway. We weren't supposed to make it. And Miami wasn't supposed to make it to begin with either because they didn't even win 38-3. Thank you for correcting me. It was a pretty bad whipping. But Miami Tech wasn't supposed to make it either. They didn't win the ACC championship game. They didn't win the title. They didn't even make it to the championship game. Duke won, but yet they didn't make it. Go figure. The wonders of the college football playoff. So we have some very interesting teams. Like Indiana, you got the Heisman winner Mendoza. You got Omar Cooper, famous for that Gus Johnson call against Penn State. That was pretty much their start, their ascension to the top. They're a very cohesive unit. They have a lot of veterans, no 5 stars. What was it? Oregon, they had a bunch of 5-star recruiters, and Indiana had none. And they BTA'd the Ducks, sent them swimming. And I'm thinking to myself, is this just gonna be one of those years where they have one of those runs and then they'll never be relevant again? I think it might be. I think Miami has something cooking down there. They got some young guns, especially Malachi Tony. Now, first, I thought he was a receiver. One of my friends in profiles told me that he's a running back. I was like, hold up, what? Dude's a running back, and he runs so aggressive. He runs so powerful. It's like Isaiah Pacheco if he lived down south of Florida. Like he runs so dang fast. And I was like, okay, he's pretty much the engine that makes this thing go. So okay, boom. I got Miami winning. It's not going to be a blowout like Indiana thinks it is. The Hoosiers are going to hoo their way to a loss, but it's going to be on Mendoza. I think he's going to throw a pick, and Miami's going to win. It'll probably be something along the lines of, let's just say 27, Miami 27, Indiana 23, probably. But it's going to be a very close game. Like I'm telling you, everybody thinks it's going to be a blowout like the last couple of games Indiana's having. Nah, they're going to run into that wall. That's the U. Like they're not going to do what they did before. 2001, Miami's going to look very proud. And Michael Irvin's going to be going crazy on the sidelines again.
All right. You done heard the contrasting views out here. Mike, of course, with Indiana, Jordan with Miami. Go ahead, Mike.
Wait. Listen, I can respect this take. That's fine. The only part where I would have the big sign that says defend that is saying that Alabama was playing with house money.
Yes.
The playoffs?
Yes.
Wait a second. Alabama has a standard.
They got blown out. I put in the chat that we are in that I didn't think they were going to make it after that loss. That's why I didn't say anything in the chat.
Listen, house money for Alabama is diabolical. This is why I'll say that, right? Because Alabama has such a history of winning, of excellence. The standard is the standard, like Mike Tomlin would say, right? Shouts to Mike Tomlin, by the way. Of course, the Steelers fan, you already know. But coming from Nick Saban's era, right, where they had an era of dominance, as a person that went to Auburn, I'm unfortunately acknowledging Alabama's dominance during that era. What I will tell you is that saying that they were playing with house money is wild because the expectations were still the same. They were the number 2 team in the SEC as far as they went to the SEC title game. They weren't actually the number 2 team, but they went to the SEC title game. Did they get smacked by Georgia? Absolutely.
Yes.
But everybody was talking about, oh, it was an anomaly. Oh, they had to play them twice. Oh, they were settling and pulling their starters so that they could be prepared for the playoffs. And then here's the crazy part. They beat the competitive team. I think it was Oklahoma. They beat Oklahoma, who I didn't think they were going to beat. Then to go to the second round and just throw up such a terrible, terrible example of Alabama football against a team that other players, most people around the country thought Indiana was going to lose by double digits to Alabama, which was wild as a wild take in general. I knew that wasn't going to happen. Here's the interesting part. House money indicates that they didn't think that they had a chance to win. It's Alabama. If you don't think you have a chance to win, then maybe what should really be happening is reevaluating if Kalen DeBoer should be the coach in Alabama. But that's just me. But I'll pass it to you, Nick.
Yeah, you already know. The Mike just said it. The standard is the standard. Go ahead. You got your rebuttal.
I gotta say this though. In my defense, because I had to make sure I wasn't tripping. There are a lot of underclassmen on Alabama's team. You got Indiana that got 23, 24, 25-year-olds old enough to get their first house. And you got the Bama guys who were barely old enough to drink. You got a comparison of players physically and mentally there. Like Indiana, of course, they're more seasoned. They're going to trump the young guns. That's Alabama. And I made sure because I know the star, Hollywood Williams, is barely even 19 years old. He'll be in the NFL before he's even old enough to drink legally. And don't drink legally. But nonetheless, Alabama, they had a lot of young guns. They're still trying to get their legs under them. I would give them another year or two before I see them in that title game. But to say like it was a fair fight, nah. I just think the 4, 5, 6, 7 year veterans on Indiana really set the table for this season.
I don't know, because when you look at it, like Mike said, the standard is the standard and especially for Alabama. Like they've been a juggernaut powerhouse team for a lot of years, and especially in the last, let's say, 10 years. So it doesn't matter if it's the CFL, NFL, UPL. Guess what? Indiana won by five touchdowns. That is. So let's just keep that real. We just gonna throw that out there now. That's just me. That's just me. Now, with that being said, we got some comments coming in the chat, letting them be known. First and foremost, they're saying that Miami don't win the line of scrimmage. It's gonna be nasty, and definitely that Alabama got smoked out here. Got their lunch money taken from them, as well as their girl. That was kind of disrespectful out there, but appreciate that, Black Flash. For me personally, I look at these two teams, and you got to understand, Indiana used to be a joke, complete joke out here. There were multiple seasons. They were like 2-8, 1-9. Like it was real bad. Like when you talk about Indiana, a lot of teams they're like, "Oh, we playing Indiana? That's a bye week essentially." And that's on top of homecoming when they essentially should have a bye week. So you're talking about multiple teams having multiple bye weeks out here. And Indiana was just like, people won't take Indiana seriously. Like the college kids, you already know. I've been scrolling the last couple of weeks. I've seen a lot of good Indiana University type hype videos and all sorts of stuff. Some venture things, lots of stuff out there. However, Miami comes with historic defense. And that's what the thing is with this team, is defense. And the old adage is defense. Offense sells tickets, defense wins championships. So we can talk all day about, Miami don't need to be here. They barely squeaked in. Hell, Alabama just barely squeaked in, and they got that first round exit. So let's leave it as we leave it. So, like I said, when it comes to my
second round.
Oh, they got bounced in the second round. My bad. I apologize.
We don't want to hear the crazy fandom later talk about,
listen,
it was the second round. They
still got bounced. You still got bounced. It don't matter. First round, second round, semifinal, final. You still got bounced. And you got bounced terribly. So it is what it is, like I said. But yeah, with Miami, it's defense. We've seen a lot of teams professionally, collegiate level, that wasn't supposed to be in there. And yet their defense took them places that they weren't supposed to go, i.e. New York Giants. Those the recent rings that they have, their defense carried them. The 2015 Broncos, defense carried them. When we talk about backpacking the quarterback that ain't supposed to be in there in that conversation at all, you're not even supposed to be sniffing this part of the season. And yet they're in there doing their thing, winning games. So, Miami is coming not to play. And you know what? I think it's time, when it comes to those bets, we throw up the U. Psych! 1 or 2, you know what to do. Indiana, we're all for you. We will fight for the cream and crimson, for the glory. OIU, never daunted, we cannot falter. In the battle, we're trying to true. Indiana, we're all for you. IU. I'm sorry, I'm taking Indiana. Take my pick. Officially, it's Indiana. I'm sorry. I know I had you in that first round, Jordan. I'm sorry to have to do you like that. So, give me a score of, I'm going to say that it's close, though, because I'm not going to put disrespect on the good defense. I'll put 30-27, last second field goal, Indiana. So I'll put that out there.
Oh, I didn't tell you my score. I got it 31-17, Indiana.
All right. Oh, hey, look, it looks like our fans out here, they giving these facts out here. They're saying 30 players on the Indiana transfer this year. The average age is 22 to 23 years old. So Jordan, I don't know about that. You talking about they're a little older. Look like they got some people there to stay. Hey, that look like we got
It's
some
still
people.
older than the Bama players, though. Just saying.
Carson Beck is in his 29th season, so I think it's all right.
That is true. That's
He's
true.
been, even in college football since the Roaring '20s, since back when Penn State was good. That's how long you've been in.
All right. Like I said, we've already discussed a lot of this. So again, we're gonna go ahead to our next topic. This one should be a good one. This should be a real good one. I'm gonna really defer on y'all two on this one. The college football playoffs. I know there've been a lot of discussions about it, especially because we were just talking about somebody's team wasn't supposed to be there and they got dubbed, then got their candy taken like a baby, they girl, they lunch money, just about everything that they could take from them. They took it from them.
One of those teams was that.
The Alabama.
Oh, Oregon too.
Oh, that team. Oh, that team.
Alabama.
You talking
JMU,
about,
that happened to
I'm talking
JMU
about
too.
Oregon.
Tulane.
really
There's a
thought-
couple teams that happened to.
I mean, like I said, still, to be fair, anybody playing Indiana was going to get that belt. But let's really discuss this playoff system. Does it really work, honestly, the college football playoffs? Or do we need things to change? Keep in mind, dude, this is our, fourth, fifth season of having this college football season playoffs. So let's really discuss it. Like, is this really good to have this playoff format? Or do we need to have something to change? I picked on Mike earlier. So, Jordan, you got the helm out here.
All right. So I'm just going to let you know now. Yes, it's very needed. I like it the way it is. I don't want it to change, only because there's been an element of surprise. The number one team has not won it the last, two? This is the second year it's in, or the first year? No, it's not the first year. Second or third year, right? Second? Oh, third? Okay. Yeah, so the number one team hasn't won yet. There's been an underdog in every single season, and I like that. I think leaving it at 12 is fine. Do not extend the thing to 16, because then you're going to have another problem. They're going to be like, oh, Alabama lost 6 games, but yet they wound up being in the championship game, and they're going to complain about that. Like, you can never please everybody. So I'm not going to be one of those people that's going to be like, oh yeah. Let's change it more. Let's leave it as is. Let the best of 4 get their bye. That everybody else get in where they can fit in. If you lose 3 games, then that's on you. You just should have won games. I mean, Alabama did lose 3, but that's besides the point. Yeah, like just leave it as is. I like the competition. I like the potential upsets that's happened. Like Oregon facing Indiana. I mean, I know it happened before because the teams are constantly swapping conferences, like they're changing different women area codes. Shout out Nick Dog. They're just doing a whole bunch of stuff, and I like it. Just create more chaos. That way I can actually enjoy college football.
So I probably have a bit of me. I always got a slightly controversial take. And it's not necessarily just controversial, it's just a little different, right? I do think that it's been effective. I'm happy that they moved it to 12. Do I think 16 would be valuable? Yes and no. What I really want, and this is kind of outside of what we're talking about, is I want the bowl games to matter again. That's what I miss. I miss back when the Cotton Bowl was relevant, and back when the Fiesta Bowl was relevant, and back when Boise State upset Oklahoma. That's the type of drama I miss. Some of these bowl games were actually fantastic, but because all the attention was on the college football playoff, I think it kind of detracted from it. I also really dislike that all these teams or players are opting out when they're already getting NIL money. One of the changes that I think should happen should be more so tied to the NIL money. They should get part of their money at the beginning of the season and then part of their money after the bowl season. It should be almost like a participation amount that they're given, which will make the bowl season a bit better. And depending on the bowl that they go to, depends on how much money they're getting individually from their NIL deal. I think that that would be a fantastic thing to help line up the bowl system. As far as the college football playoff, I like the idea of expanding it to 16, but then what's the limit? What are we going to do next? 32, 64? We're going to turn into March Madness? I don't want to see just playoffs only in college. That makes the rivalries not matter. That makes the regular season not matter. That makes these fantastic games that are being scheduled not matter. What I would rather see, though, and this may be just me, instead of big powerhouse teams scheduling a cupcake, they instead schedule a neutral site game against a powerhouse. The thing that Vanderbilt was talking about, where they wanted to play that extra game to really be in the committee's eyes, I think that that should be an option. I think that they should withhold one of those cupcake games that they're playing. No disrespect to them. I'm not trying to call them cupcakes because they're terrible. I'm just saying that comparatively to who they're playing in the Power Five, they're expected to lose. I remember back at my alma mater, I went to Norfolk State for undergrad. I remember when my alma mater played Rutgers back when Ray Rice was there. We lost 70-3. We were the cupcake on the schedule. And not that we're a cupcake team. We were, you know, go hard in the paint and working out and all the things. But comparatively to all the five stars that we had, they were expecting to beat us, right? So I would like for there to be an opportunity for an extra game, kind of like a prove it game, but it should only be if you're on the cusp and you would have had to not schedule one of those cupcake games. You have an extra game coming, make it almost like a second buy, but you don't use it as a buy, use it as a placeholder, and then it's there if you need it to catapult you into the playoffs. I think that that would be great. I don't have a problem with the P4 schools or the lower Power Five schools going in and joining into the tournament. I thought that that was a different twist. We kind of knew that they were going to lose, but JMU put up a hell of a fight. They dropped 38 on Oregon, you know, or 34 on Oregon, whatever it was. It was 30 something on Oregon, which was unexpected. They could have lost, you know, by 40 points, but instead they dropped 38 on them. So I like the idea of that. I think kind of where it could come in and maybe be a bit better is maybe after the bowl season, somebody gets to get back into the tournament. I think that would be a fun twist there. Like you won the Cotton Bowl, right? Michigan beat I don't know, Michigan State or something. Who cares? I don't care. Random Cotton Bowl. And like maybe that team was like the 14 seed or something, right? Like 14 ranked in the country. And I think they should go back into the tournament if they win their bowl game as kind of like, almost like a quasi wild card. Just a thought outside the box. I don't hate how it's set up. It's like significantly better than the BCS. The BCS was probably the most terrible system that's ever been existed in the history of sports, in my humble opinion. And I say that because the year that Auburn got screwed from going to the national title after being undefeated was because of the BCS system. So that was the BS system, is what I'll call that. This is a lot better of a system. I like that there's a committee. I know people want the computer to get back involved. I don't want that. I like that there has to be a debate and a person-to-person relationship and a judging of, hey, what happened on the field, you know, the matchups that had to matter, right? That's how Miami is in versus Notre Dame, and now Miami's in the national title. And also, these games have been interesting. I found it interesting for Alabama to lose 38-3, but you know, that's just slight bias for me. So
Of
that's
course
kind
you
of my
would find
takeaway
it
there.
interesting.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. Of course, you would find our misery interesting. I mean, we beat you on the Iron Will, so we good. We'll be fine.
Well,
We'll be fine.
barely. And we were terrible. And we've been terrible for years. And that shouldn't even count. That's one of those cupcake games I'm talking about. We've been looking so terrible. We might as well be a cupcake right now. And I love Auburn, war down. But man, we've been looking bad. Except for when we had Cam Newton, we was fire. And then y'all got lucky last year when y'all got that lucky pass with Jalen Milroe. Y'all got lucky this year, right, as well. All I know is next year, especially because y'all have a quote unquote rebuilding season. How you in the playoffs and y'all rebuilding with house money, quote unquote? Get out of there. That's ridiculous. Anyway, my point is that we coming back, war down. We gonna get back up there. I think this coach and the quarterback that he got from USF are gonna do some things. I'm interested to see how we recruit this year, and I'm also interested to see the pushback from Bama this year in regards to how they showed up in the playoffs. Because right now it's looking like LSU is dominating the portal. It's looking like Indiana is dominating the portal. The interesting part is nowadays, here's the interesting shift, and this is kind of a hot take as well. I think that the portal matters more than the high school recruiting now. So that's just me.
It does. It does. Because at the end of the day, you have your chance to develop. You have your opportunities to develop high school players. But again, if I have the opportunity to get this 4-star recruit and he enters the portal, and I like how he would work in my system as a quarterback, or I like this cornerback, and I know nobody else high school wise or anybody that I'm going to recruit is going to match up to this recruit that's in the portal. Like, yeah, it's going to matter a lot more. And that's one of the issues that I do have with the CFP is because of this. It now, well, number one, NIL. That's going to be the number one thing, because with that, you need to have more NIL money. You need to pay out more money. You need to get the best of the best. We're starting to slide away from the development stages of college, which is going to impact what you see at the NFL level. So, and one of the things that I'm big on is development. And I've stood on this for a little bit. This has been my own hill that I die on, is that coaches are not developing their players when they go from college to NFL. That's been my hill I'm going to die on. And I feel like with the NIL, it's going to impact it a lot more, because coaches aren't going to want to develop those high school players that come out. Your important players are going to be the ones you're spending that $1.2 and $3.4 million for, because they're going to the NFL. They're going to help you get more money, and it's all a business. It's all a business trade from here. Also, when we talk about the college football playoffs, I do like the 12 teams, and I do feel like Mike has a point about, if you win a bowl game, you should have an entry in it. I think, honestly, we need to look at like how to kind of balance that out. Of course, as always, I think the top 4 should be in regardless. That's the way I feel about it. Like, top 4 record should be in. That's just the way it is. It needs to be like that, because, again, regardless of schedule, you got here. Because we do this in the NFL. Like, regardless of what your schedule looks like, Denver and New England had cupcake schedules when you look at it. And regardless of that, they're still being talked about and, regarded as high teams, like the cream of the crop this year. So it's not necessarily who you play, is, you play who you play. I do believe they need to be a little bit more selective in who they play, because, like Mike said, you got the cupcake people out here, and a lot of teams use those cupcakes to kind of determine it. That's why when they get to those ranked games, it's so lopsided, because you're not challenging yourself enough with those cream of the crop teams. But at the end of the day, I think, like I said, NIL, like, we should keep it probably, I think max should be about 16 teams. Let's get that out of the way. I like 12 teams. I think 16 is absolute max if you're going to make a change. But when we talk about that selection period for the other 8 or 12 teams, I think bowl games should play into it. Like, did you win your bowl game? If you didn't win your bowl game, you shouldn't be talked about getting into a playoff game. Like, absolutely not. And that's how I think that's one of the ways I think the bowl games would matter more. Like Mike said, we got to figure out a way to make bowl games matter. Like, when we get to the selection series, like, first of all, top 4 are in. 1, 2, 3, 4 record, regardless of how it looks. Like, if you're ranked 1, 2, 3, and 4, you are in. That's it. No questions asked. The other 8 need to be determined on whether or not you won a bowl game. Then we can talk about strength of schedule. We can talk about a whole bunch of other stuff, like a whole bunch of other tiebreakers. But overall, we need to look at, did you win your bowl game? Yes, you're in. No, get out of here. Like, we're not even going to do this. But But that's my high horse for that matter. Sorry, I faded out on that one a little bit. My bad, y'all. So while we're here on college, we always do this thing. We always have our Mount Rushmores. Yes, it is that time again. It is a Mount Rushmore time. So this time we are going to discuss the greatest college football players of all time, ranked. So make sure you rank them, fellas. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Break down the best of the best in the college world. You got a whole lot of college play. What's up, Mike?
I got a question. Wait. I got a question. There are so many positions. Are we able to maybe narrow this down, offense and then defense as a different aspect of it? Are we doing just quarterbacks, just running backs? Anybody that's ever played college football?
Yeah,
that just seems pretty broad. I don't know.
No, I got to make it difficult. It's all players of all time. So again, and to make it fair, do not include their NFL resume in there. All right. Do not include their NFL resume. We are talking strictly college. The greatest 4 players that have ever stepped foot on a college field. I'm going to lead it off first. I got the hot take of the year. So because I'm driving this first, here's my take on the top 4, ranked. I need you to understand, this is ranked. Number 1, Tim Tebow, quarterback from Florida. You guys already know he's arguably the most famous college player ever. Everybody knows him. He has 2 national titles with the Florida Gators, 2007 Heisman winner. Like I said, he had a lot of media presence surrounding him. His team comprised of a lot of people. I think it was like Aaron Hernandez. It was a whole host of teams. And Tebow was able to corral those people together and make some magic happen. Also, to win 2 national titles, that's something to say. All right. I think him being number 1 is a good spot for him to be at. Number 2, the most sensational social media superstar out there. Give me Johnny Money. Johnny Manziel, Texas A&M. Money man. Give me the money, man. Look, I'm here to tell you, watching college sports, and I'm not like a huge overall college fan, but Johnny Manziel made me want to watch Texas A&M. I was almost a Texas A&M fan because of this man, Johnny Money. Of course, 2012 Heisman, won it as a freshman. Y'all already know he had that swagger with him. It was just out there. Give me the money. Of course, it did help him. Like I said, it did help him overall to get drafted in the NFL. But like I said, just overall, his presence, it was just demanding. Honestly, I might have put him a little, you know what? I'm going to put him number 3 because the person that I have number 2 preceded him as being flashy. And I think he set the stand, like he crawled so that Manziel could run. And that person that I have is primetime Deion Sanders, number 2, primetime. So, like I said, flashy. He had the speed. He had the confidence. He had the charisma. He knew what he was going to do, and he did it. Florida State alumni, like I said, his personality was as famous as his play. Y'all already know how it is. I could go on and on about the things that he do, but y'all know it just as well as I do. So we're going, like I said, to recap, Tim Tebow, number 1. Deion Sanders, number 2. Johnny Money Manziel, number 3. Number 4. There's so many names out here. I'm going with Vince Young, Texas. Vince Young. Pretty iconic guy. The Rose Bowl versus USC. it cemented his legacy as one of the greatest championship moments ever. So give me Vince Young at Texas. At honorable mention, I do have Reggie Bush for USC, and I do believe it's like neck and neck. So Reggie Bush is out there. Under that, you have J.J. Watt. You also have that played for Houston, Texas. What was his name? He got drafted there. Defensive lineman. He played for I think it was like I can't remember. Nah, I don't think so. Say it one more time.
Jadeveon Clowney, you talking about?
Yup, Jadeveon Clowney. Yup, I got him. God, I'm sorry. When they threw that flat, and it was a turnover on downs because he had them short, and they had the first down. They said, no, the ball is short. It's a turnover on downs. And first play, they tried to hand that thing off, and Jadeveon put that hit stick on that boy. Took the ball back and everything. I'm sorry. That was a very memorable moment for me, and I think that kind of puts him up there. But like I said, Tebow 1, Prime Time number 2, Johnny Money number 3, and Vince Young number 4 with Reggie Bush right behind him. 4A and 4B. Honestly, 4A and 4B. Jordan, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go next. All right, before you go though, Jordan, I need y'all to let me know in the comment section. Let me know, is it valid or am I wilding? Y'all gotta let me know in the comment section. Mike is down there saying, nah, he wilding. But Jordan, you're up next.
Because you had to put me on the spot. Those were some good players, and they made some very, very great, impactful plays. Now, honestly, I was going to say Tim Tebow is my first because he created Tebowing. Tebowing became a thing nationwide, and everybody was on his side, fortunately, too. 2-time national champion, best leader of the team, Florida. You know, they had that documentary, like he was there, too, as a Christian-based lifestyle. He was so efficient. It's sad that it didn't transition to the NFL, but he was so freaking tough too. So I give him all the credit in the world. Now, I gotta go Reggie Bush number 2 because I think he was electrifying wherever he was on the field, kick returning, running. Just you couldn't cover him. He was uncoverable. Number 3, though, because as far as teams and players, you just need that go-to guy. It was a tie-up between Devin Hester and Tavon Austin because they are both kick returner specialists. And literally, once they got the ball in the open field, you couldn't cover them. There was nobody that could catch them. Devin Hester specifically because of the Miami. We got a lot of U players that we're talking about, ironically. And it's just that fear factor of whenever he touched the ball, like it was pretty much a touchdown. Percy Harvin's a special recognition too. Shout out to 757. But as far as an individual prowess, number 4, even though I can't really stand LSU, I gotta go Joe Burrow. 60 TDs. That I think is a record for a quarterback in a season. Heisman, undefeated national champ. He went through a gauntlet of teams to win, and they were undefeated, if I'm not mistaken, too. And I think they brought back the college football game specifically because of him and the season that his team had. With the cigar and everything, the photos were iconic. So he's number 4 at that point. So like I said, Tim Tebow, Reggie Bush. 3 is a tie. Devin Hester, Tavon Austin, and Joe Burrow is number 4.
So I think y'all just listen to y'all favorite players in college football. This don't sound like no type of Mount Rushmore list. Calvin Austin on the list of Mount Rushmore. This is not even a real list.
Not Calvin Austin. We're gonna focus on the Steelers now.
Oh, my bad. Tavon Austin. Tavon Austin. Either way, boo. Ridiculous, right? So I'm going to give you a real list. Are you ready for this? I've been doing some research. I wanted to make sure I was dotting I's, crossing T's, because I thought of a lot of ones. But I said, you know what? Let me actually go through it for real and give you a real Mount Rushmore of college football only based upon their college football careers. Correct? That's what you said. Only college football career. All right.
Only college football careers.
Number one, then, who you guys, neither one of you mentioned, has to be Archie Griffin, the two-time winner of the Heisman Trophy, the only person in the history of ever to win two Heisman trophies. Archie Griffin, by far, number one. Number two, for me, is going to be Barry Sanders. His rushing record is still not been beaten. The impact that he had in college football was phenomenal. On top of that, this man was running through everybody, destroying them. Don't even mention what he did in the NFL. He's one of the greatest running backs ever. Probably a whole different conversation. This who's the GOAT running backs in the NFL. But what he did in college was monumental. So I think both of those running backs have to be considered before any of those people that y'all name. Number three, I can accept Tim Tebow at number three. Tim Tebow's impact on the game was fantastic. He made a lot of us fans of football because of not only his enthusiasm. The crazy part is the man couldn't hit a wall with a dart, right? Like he wasn't accurate, but he was tough. He was strong. He made the throws when they counted. That jump pass that he did, iconic. And he was one of the most inspirational leaders that college football has ever seen. I'm surprised that he don't have an award named after him, like a leadership type of award or something, because he inspired everyone. Now, number four for me is between two people. Number four for me is I like the idea of Prime. I thought that was a great pick. Prime's impact in college was fantastic, but then that also makes me think of Warren Sapp. That also makes me think of Ray Lewis there, right? That also makes me think of the running back that played for the Cowboys during that stretch there, Ezekiel Elliott, right? It also makes me think of just, I can keep going on and on, from the Johnny Footballs of the world, as you mentioned there, the Carson Palmers of the world, right? There's so many people that have played college football and played at an exceptional level. But number four for me is tied between two people. It's tied between Desmond Howard, who won the Heisman, playing on the defensive side of the ball for Michigan, who was fantastic in college, right? Made not only one of the most iconic Heisman poses there ever was, but also it's been fantastic as an analyst, was fantastic in the league, but we're not considering that. Just his college career, though, this man was dynamic. In fact, it would have been Desmond Howard, but I just changed my mind. Just came up. Charles Woodson takes a spot over him. Sorry. It just came up. Charles Woodson is my number four because Charles Woodson was even more impactful than Desmond Howard. And then tied for number four with me. So I'll put Desmond Howard probably number five or number six. Tied for number four for me, though. He didn't win the Heisman. Controversial. But I mean, if he can include Tavon Austin, then I can actually give you somebody who deserves to be on the Mount Rushmore. I'm going to go with Randy Moss. Randy Moss at Marshall set so many records. He played on a quote-unquote cupcake type of team, a team that we would usually equate as a cupcake team. Mind you, Marshall's not actually a cupcake team. They've had multiple great players. Chad Pennington went there, just for example. Randy Moss, quite a few others there. So they're not really a cupcake. They're just not, top level there, right? But he made them relevant. In fact, he was a Heisman Trophy finalist. He was number 3 in Heisman voting that year, behind Peyton Manning and behind Ryan Leaf. And he should have beat both of them, considering the career and the statistical anomalies that he was putting up in his career. This man was unguardable. Not only was he unguardable then, he was unguardable in the league. Of course, in my opinion, probably number 2 all time in wide receivers. Well, that's a whole different conversation in that capacity. But from college perspective, Randy Moss redefined the position. Calvin Johnson wouldn't have been as great as he was without Randy Moss being able to shine. Randy Moss not only redefined the position, but he redefined what dominance was. He redefined route running. He literally is the only person that we can think of, other than Kobe, right, that has an adjective that describes what he does. You throw the ball right now, right? Somebody catches it over you, oh, you just got mossed. It's literally an adjective because of how fantastic and dominant not only he was in college, but he was in the NFL. You want to add some bonus ones, like I said, you could put Desmond Howard up there, right? You could put Charlie Ward up there, who deserved to play in the NFL, won the Heisman, and then went to the NBA, which is fantastic, be that well of a two-sport athlete. Cam Newton comes to mind because his dominant season in Auburn was amazing. Bo Jackson comes to mind. There's just so many people in college football that it's really difficult to narrow it down. But I think that my list, by far, trumps y'all's list.
All right. Well, you heard them out here. Rank them out here. Whose list you think? Who do y'all like? I need it in the comment section. I got one from the comment section right now. They got a rank list right here. Black Flash 3973 said Herschel Walker number 1, Barry Sanders number 2, Cam Newton number 3, and Jameis Crab Legs Winston number 4. So, like I said, let me know who you like. You got Mike that got the better list, Jordan got the better list, or you side with me.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Cam Newton win two, or just one? But I think it was the way he won it was very legendary, right?
Yeah. There are also a couple other comments. They're saying if you didn't win a Heisman and take your team to a natty, you shouldn't be on that list. So, I mean, I don't make the rules. There's a lot of stuff out there that, determines how we determine Mount Rushmore. So that's a good one out there. I actually like that from the comment section. Like I said, if you're watching this video, even now or later on, just like I said, drop a comment out there. Let me know who you think got the better list. Who's got the worst list? We need to know. Now, we got 2 more topics. Topic number 4. There's news that broke that Mark Ingram is inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. Is it well-deserved? Is it well overdue? Or was there a better choice? Let me know. Mike, I got a call on you, my guy. You go ahead and lead us off.
Listen, I'm not a Bama fan, but he won the Heisman. And as a running back for Bama, his impact is legendary. He's locked in, right? He was probably one of the best running backs that's been at Bama. Not the best, but one of the best running backs that's been at Bama. Not only could he run the ball, he was good in the pass game. He was good in the blocking game. He was dynamic when it mattered. He won national titles. I think it would be silly to not put him in the College Football Hall of Fame. The other 2 that went in the College Football Hall of Fame, Aaron Donald went in there, and there was another person there as well. But all of them deserve to be in the College Football Hall of Fame. The interesting question, all right, which is probably even a better question, is does that translate to him being in the Pro Hall of Fame? Because I don't think he's even remotely a Pro Football Hall of Famer. But I think that he's first ballot for being in the College Football Hall of Fame. Absolutely.
Mark Ingram. I mean, y'all pretty much gave all the accolades. Bama, running back, Heisman. It's the perfect ingredient to get into the Hall of Fame. What more could you ask for, honestly? What more could you ask for? And I think it's a testament to the coaching, the development team, and everything. Y'all pretty much broke it down. It's self-explanatory. To have that, it's not getting the College Football Hall of Fame would be sacrilegious at this point. So y'all got it. Roll Tide.
Oh, Lord. I thought you would have had more to say because, them your boys out there, Jordan. I thought you would have had more to say.
Well, here's the thing. With Alabama, it's pretty much self-explanatory. Y'all did say the standard is a standard. Most of our players are usually, like the star players, are usually Heisman capable. The only reason they may not win is because there's so many playmakers on our team that, they all can't win it. So,
well, other than this year, of course, when you guys, apparently had a free pass, which is kind of wild, a hall pass. But my question, probably the better question there, though, that's probably, this is a good question, but a better question is, who was the best Alabama running back because y'all have had some dogs. And since you're a Bama fan, that's really what I want to know. Is Mark Ingram the best Alabama running back? Forget him being in the College Football Hall of Fame. We know he's going there. He should be there. But is he the best Bama running back?
A lot of people would have said Trent Richardson, but he had a hard time transitioning. Derrick Henry is my guy. Derrick Henry.
I was about to say. I'm
gonna tell you who Derrick Henry said was.
I was going to say somebody else besides Derrick Henry. You crazy?
Derrick Henry said it was Sean Alexander.
Nah, I still think
that's what Derrick Henry said. It was Sean Alexander over him.
Now, Sean Alexander was a little bit before, not necessarily before my time, but when I saw highlights of him on Instagram, it opened my eyes because I didn't realize how much of a head hitter he was. Like head first, boom, knock your person's shoulder off, knock your person's rib off. He was really that dude. But still, like Derrick Henry, 6'3", 220, probably 230 at that time, now 240, 250. Who's stopping that?
The Steelers.
Let's go.
I'm just saying. Don't make me that person.
The Steelers, John Harbaugh and Todd Monken.
Don't make me the bad person.
The coordinators. That's who's stopping.
You say who's stopping them? Apparently, the Steelers.
Coordinators. And what's 77 on Baltimore? What's 77's name?
Shoot, I can't remember it right now.
Yeah, him. He couldn't protect anybody.
Look, here's what I got. This is why I said that I thought you would have more on Mark Ingram because it's the impact. First of all, it's the dominance that Mark Ingram had in college. First and foremost, you got to understand he was the catalyst in what started people talking about Alabama. Because of him and how run heavy that Alabama offense was, that's what started the whole Roll Tide movement. All right. Like them winning influenced many teams on how they built their rosters in the 2010s. You got to understand it. Then also paved the way for the future of running backs that came behind them. Derrick Henry, Najee Harris, Josh Jacobs. Like all of them came through Alabama. Like all of them had to have an impact. Like then like I said, you look at how other colleges were building their rosters. The Ezekiel Elliott's, I can't think of the name right now. Saquon Barkley, Miles Sanders, like all these running backs that was coming through. People won't looking at colleges. They won't looking at how much you running the ball if you could just run that thing down. They were trying to pass the ball out there. But then, go ahead.
I just had a quick point. I like what you're saying. I think this is valid, definitely what you're saying. But what I will say, and here's just, I always like to throw my little bomb in there and walk away real quick, is that Georgia has better running backs than Alabama. But go ahead, Nick.
Ooh, Georgia got better ones? Oh, no. We're going to have to look this one up real quick.
I mean, the best running back they've had recently was DeAndre Swift. I mean, Sony Michel's not playing now, so most of the running backs.
Super Bowl champion Sony Michel, by the way.
Yeah, I was about to say, you about to put disrespect out there. That's Super Bowl winning.
Just, you know.
He was the second or third string running back on the team. Let's not even do that. But go on.
Nick Chubb, Todd Gurley. We keep going. Kenyon Drake. Yep.
How many of them are still playing right now?
Nick Chubb, DeAndre Swift, James Cook. Those three right there. Then you have Todd Gurley, who's a very, very good back. Sony Michel, multiple Super Bowl winning Sony Michel.
First round.
Yeah, you got a lot out there.
Right? We keep going. I'm just saying they have an argument that they have better running backs than Alabama. Now, don't get me wrong. I think it's difficult to beat Derrick Henry. But when you go line by line, Trent Richardson and Mark Ingram, who would you rather have? I'd rather have Todd Gurley, DeAndre Swift, James Cook. Just saying.
Kenyon Drake is with Alabama, though.
Oh, you're probably right. It was some. Who was the other one that with George? I can't remember his name. I thought it was Drake.
I can't remember it.
This is how you know I'm not a
But
Bama fan.
I think Alabama was built on like powerhouse running backs. And, the Georgia running backs they were like one and the same. Like you had some power backs, like some shifty guys.
I just love how we're talking so much about Alabama, but keep on going.
Let's look here. Look here. First of all, the reason we're talking about
Herschel
this,
Walker was also a Georgia running back.
the reason we're talking about this is because of Mark Ingram's success. Keep that in mind. So while we're over here talking about, Alabama this, Alabama that, Mark Ingram is like the catalyst for all of this. So let's tone down the like how we're talking about Alabama talk, because you gotta also understand, like, Georgia really ran, like, Georgia's success was running back by committee. So they won't, having one particular back. But you also, like I said, when you look at it, Alabama, like I said, Alabama was all about the power running backs. They were running it down your throat. And then Georgia was keeping them fresh.
I'm going to make a comment here now. For our next podcast, we have to discuss which school is wide receiver U. It ain't got to be today, but
oh my goodness,
podcast. Which school is the real wide receiver U? Don't answer it today. Don't answer it today.
I'm already telling you, it's the Ohio State University.
Yeah, we got to put it out there. Don't answer it today.
Oh my goodness, wide receiver U. Golly.
And
you go to the next topic. This is not a now topic. Not a now debate. I'm just throwing it out there for next time. We talk about that.
We're going to have next week. So
next week we're going to discuss wide receiver U, because we also going to discuss the draft. So definitely shout outs there. Nick, you go whatever topic you have next. That's a good one.
Well, I'm looking at this comment section. And one of them, the Black Flash again, he coming out here. He said James Cook, Russian champion and soon to be Super Bowl champion. Hey, I don't know if I can kind of agree with that one.
That's my boy LA. That's LA. He's a Bills fan, so of course he thinks that. But I already told you, if they don't win this year,
the Apollo thing on him, he might be out next week.
We'll see. I don't know. But he did win the Russian title for sure. Shouts to him.
My goodness.
Yeah, he did win it. So last but not least, we do have some time left. So I do have some rapid fire questions we're going to go at. So like I said, get ready for it. You're going to have 1 minute to discuss. So make sure you have your arguments ready to tailor it down to 60 seconds or less. I'm going to have to cut you off. All right, here we go. I got 10 rapid fire questions. Make sure you have your facts behind them. There is not coming from NFL, NBA. It's coming from all over. So be prepared for it. So, Jordan, number one, is this the last time we're going to see Cody Rhodes as WWE champion?
Yes, I think they're going to go in a different direction. I think they're going to go for some new blood. I mean, Cody Rhodes was supposed to be the guy, but he's consistently been one wrestler that has been at the top. But I don't know. The WWE organization has an affinity for bringing old wrestlers back. They just can't let them rest. So I think even though Cody Rhodes is supposed to be that guy, he's an American Nightmare instead of being an American Dream Jr. Nonetheless, they're not going to make him that. They're going to probably try to do it with Gunther. I think he's still injured. But they're going to put a new face up there just to get more people involved. And I'm starting to keep an eye on wrestling more because I'm seeing the new faces. They're finally moving to new faces. Thank God.
Well, you got to understand, when it comes to wrestling, it's following the old mantra. Your older wrestlers are your cash cows. They're going to be able to give you the matches, the 5-star matches that you need. When it comes to Cody Rhodes, he's the placeholder for Roman Reigns. Because keep in mind, Roman Reigns needed a break. Roman Reigns was like dominant for 3 years during the whole COVID epidemic. So, number one, acknowledge that man. Acknowledge him. Secondly, Cody Rhodes was the placeholder when Roman needed the rest. But do I think he's going to be the last time we'll see him at champion? No, I don't. Because I think they're going to let him rest. Drew McIntyre has the championship right now, if I'm correct. But I do believe that what's going to happen is they're going to let him come back maybe as another baby face and then get another championship. All right, moving on. Mike, number 2. Who's your pick on getting the NBA title so far?
Ooh, that one's fun. I got the Thunder repeating because I don't think they have enough competition necessarily in the West. I know that they've lost in the semifinals of the NBA Cup against the Spurs, and I think the Spurs have talent, but I think that championship pedigree is going to show up for them. I like the idea of the Knicks versus the Thunder for the title, but I had to have the Thunder actually winning it all.
Nice. Jordan, what's your take on it?
Right now, it just looks like the Thunder may repeat by default, only if the Knicks don't make some noise and get everybody healthy, and if the Celtics don't get Jason Tatum back. I think the Thunder are equipped to repeat again. The Nuggets are going to be the team that stands in their way. I mean, as much as I'm a LeBron fan, the Lakers are not anywhere close to getting a title right now, unfortunately. The Thunder still have the cohesive unit. The Spurs are on their necks, so they're head to head. But I still think the Thunder are going to be that team.
All right. When I look at it, I got the Thunder. Yeah, I got the Thunder repeating. Just the dominance that they're having, blowing teams out. SGA's having the ability to play 3 quarters and didn't sit out the whole 4th quarter. It's going to come in huge when we get into the stretch after the All-Star series. It's definitely going to come into play, that rest factor, because when you'll be in the playoffs and you're resting by quarter 4 and you don't have the ability to have to play so many minutes, that's definitely going to be a huge thing for them. So I definitely think they can repeat if they're going to keep the same formula. If things change, it could be somebody else. Could be Boston. It could be anybody. Jordan, back to you. Do you think Randy Orton is going to grab another championship? Currently, Randy Orton is approaching 40. He has back problems. He's been in and out of surgeries. Do you think he's going to get another championship?
Well, I think he's approaching 45 right now. And I think based off of the injuries that he has, which are all back-based, I'm not too sure that he'll be healthy enough to get a title. He may get to the championship match and push over the young person that whoever he faces. But I don't think he's going to be that person because they're going to need to be able to defend it. I think the WWE needs to focus on making sure that the younger wrestlers are able to have successful title defenses, not just ones that last a week or two, but ones that last for probably a month, 2 months, 3 months, just like the old days. Give them a storyline. Give them something that the younger fans can look forward to, just like we had. Like where Cena had it, I think it was for a year or something. Like have those storylines. Don't make it so where Brock Lesnar comes back after being on the farm for 5 months and then wins a title in 2 weeks. No, that's boring. Come on now.
All right. Well, I think it just depends on how he holds out. Of course, a lot of his moves does a lot of wear and tear on his body, so it just depends on how he's able to deliver those 5-star matches. A lot of the greats, they like delivering those 5-star matches, 4 and 5-star matches, mainly 5-star because that's how you build your legacy. Take a look at The Undertaker. He was able to keep wrestling for years and years and years because he was able to deliver 5-star matches. I do believe his bouts with the younger crowd, especially like the likes of Brock Lesnar and having to do those heavyweight hardcore matches with Triple H, those things definitely took a toll on his body. Because keep in mind, Undertaker had to prepare a whole year for one match. So definitely one of those things to look for. Moving forward, Mike, UFC, you're switching over. Who do you think is your standout fighter?
Standout fighter of the year?
Yeah, of the year.
I'm gonna go controversial here. I think Kayla Harrison is probably a standout fighter of the year. She's got a fight coming up with Amanda Nunes to see who's really the GOAT for you know, women's featherweight title or women's bantamweight title. I think that she's dominant right now. I honestly think Amanda Nunes is running into a buzzsaw that she's not going to be ready for. I also really like Alex Pereira. I think he's had some stellar knockouts. He's been really resurgent and really come back really strong. I wanted to give it to my boy Magdavej. I can't say his last name, but he just got smacked the last fight there where it wasn't even close and he just lost his title. I think he was overdoing himself and overextending himself, which is probably why he lost that fight. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Kayla Harrison for that one.
All right, that's a good one. Jordan, you got any insight on it?
Well, although I'm the person that may not speak UFC and like y'all, I do remember Amanda Nunes. It was about 2016, ironically. I think it was Christmas time around it. I was at a bar with a couple of my homies. I think it was Amanda Nunes that won in like 30 seconds in a match. I think it was one of her first matches. I was in awe of how she knocked old girl out just like that. And she became the champion. I'm like, hold on, who is this? But it wound up being her. And I guess now to this time, she's still competitive, still at the top of the food chain. So I would say her. Like if she's still there now from back then, she's still the person to beat.
All right. Back to you, Jordan. Is this LeBron James last season? Will this be the last season we see LeBron James in the Lakers jersey?
As a LeBron James fan, I hope it is because I want him to rest. I want him to enjoy time out of the NBA. I know he's probably going to stay for Bryce to get in the NBA so way they could complete the Trinity, which having all James boys in the game. I'm like, yeah, that's fine, but I want him to rest. He's had more injuries this year than ever. I mean, Father Time is starting to catch up to him, but somehow he's still able to get you like 23, 5, and 7, which is remarkable for an age of 41. I know certain players that couldn't ever do that, but nonetheless, he he's on the last leg. It's either going to be this season or next season, but he this is it. This is it, and I honestly would hope it's this season.
I think he needs to have a farewell tour. So I'm going to vote for next season versus this season. I just think that one, I'm a LeBron fan too, but I do think that he has an ego, and not getting a farewell tour when other greats got a farewell tour just doesn't stick right with me, especially with all the records he's setting. I think also that he wants to beat the assist record or get really close to beating the assist record. So another year playing would actually do that. Plus, as you mentioned, I think which is probably the most important point, that trifecta that he'd be able to have, which would be an unprecedented, unbeatable, longevity type of statistic where both of your sons made it to the league and you were able to play with both of them. I just think that that's an immaculate stat there. So, and plus, Bryce is actually coming out next year. So, I think that'll be interesting.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see all three of them playing in a Lakers uniform of all places. So it would be unprecedented. It still would be unprecedented just to have all three on the same team. So I definitely vote for next year. Comment section is saying next year as well. So it would be one to see. Mike, is this Matt Stafford's last season?
No, Matt Stafford resigns for 3 more years. Matt Stafford, you got to think about it. I think Matt Stafford's only 36, right? And then you have Aaron Rodgers right now playing at 41, 42. I think Matthew Stafford, had he not come back from the injury this season and it had bothered him all season, then yeah, I could have saw him retiring. But he's having too much fun out there. He's about to win his first MVP. They're about to go to the Super Bowl. I think I have them as winning the Super Bowl. I've been on the Rams bandwagon all season long. I don't think that he's going to stop right now. I know a lot of people like to go out while money's good, right? But I don't think that that's the case. I think that he has such a fantastic team there. Young rosters with Puka, young rosters there with Devontae Adams. He's got Kyron Williams there. He's got a stout defense. He's got a fun coach to play for in Sean McVay. And you got to think about it. The Rams have 2 first-round picks this year. I don't think Matthew Stafford's going out like that. And if he loses, he's definitely not retiring. But if he wins, that's the only time it would be hesitant. But I do think that he's going to resign for at least 2 to 3 more years before he's actually out of there.
Yeah, I definitely heard the reports that Devontae Adams isn't going anywhere. So regardless, but he's also said when Matt Stafford retires, he's retiring as well. So I definitely want to see him play for a couple more years. I'd see him playing for a couple more years. The way they've been able to keep him kind of clean in the pocket for majority of his games. So I foresee a lot longer than 3-4 years. It just depends on how they're able to keep him clean in the pocket. Jordan, what you got?
Yeah, he ain't going nowhere. The Rams ain't going nowhere either. Not going down, but they're going to be competitive for years to come. I mean, Puka Nacua is a beast. Devontae Adams is going to be that role player that I wish DeAndre Hopkins was, but nonetheless, elements and everything. They have a team that's going to be great for years to come. As long as that offensive line does what they need to do, and as long as Kyron Williams balls out, and they got Blake Corum also in the backfield, that small power back. Stafford's going to be sitting pretty in the backfield, hollering at his wife Kelly in the stands. Like he's going to be fine. Like, he's not going anywhere.
All right, Jordan, don't worry, don't go nowhere. I'm coming right back to your favorite wrestler in the current WWE roster right now.
Favorite in the current? Okay, I thought you were saying past. Current. Could it be man and woman or woman? And it doesn't matter if they're inactive right now or if they're injured?
Doesn't matter if they're injured. Just the favorite wrestler right now.
It's a woman wrestler, Bianca Belair.
Understand. All right. I'm going to right now. I've gone back and forth between Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes right now. I'm going to stick with Cody Rhodes because his story coming back has just been one of the greatest. So I will just stick with him for right now. That's why I'm hoping that, through some time, they let him rest and stuff like that because he's went through some very bad injuries. I just hope he was able to come back and get back on that mountaintop. Mike, best wrestler of the WWE Attitude Era.
Ooh, now you talk about language.
Ooh. God.
Attitude Era was my era. I love the Attitude Era. I can't give you one. I've got to give you like 3 or 4 because I was such a big fan of that era. I'm gonna break protocol. I'm gonna give you 3. Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, HBK. There you go.
You just can't follow directions no matter what.
I don't understand directions. They're too limiting for me. I'm like a peacock. You got to let me fly. Okay.
Listen, when it comes to the best wrestler of the Attitude Era, I am an Undertaker fan. I feel like how they let him retire, though, wasn't it. But hearing the stories of how Vince McMahon wanted him to go out, I feel better about it. The fans definitely wanted him to go undefeated with the streak. But for him to want to continue and pass the torch to new and upcoming stars, I definitely appreciate it a little bit. I still wanted him to be undefeated. But Undertaker's my number 1 for the Attitude Era. Jordan, take us out. What you got? Brother, you muted.
He's actually my favorite wrestler of all time, too, Chris Jericho. Personality-wise, one of the best. Knows how to control a crowd. Multiple championships internationally and nationally. Beat The Undertaker twice. Very few people would be able to beat The Undertaker even once. And has been able to compete in multiple divisions. Like, who do you know that could really be the best of the best in any era? Even still now, he's potentially making a comeback to the WWE at 55. Like, and he still can play or roll with the best of them. Like that, he's been that guy. And it's funny because it was 2007. I remember seeing him for the first time, but then I watched his tape from the years before, and I'm like, he's the best guy that I've seen. Like pound for pound, the best guy. It's not even close.
All right, we got 2 more questions. I got some haymakers for y'all for these questions. All right, take a deep breath. Best collegiate conference. Go.
Are we talking football, basketball? Which one?
Collegiate, college, best conference.
SEC.
I'll start. I'm gonna again go against the rules just because that's what I do. But college football, Big Ten by far. College basketball, I'm gonna go with the ACC. I'm a huge Duke fan, so that's probably some bias there for me.
Dude.
Also, ACC is probably dominant in multiple sports: baseball, lacrosse. Just to name a few that are dominant in women's basketball, right, et cetera. I think the SEC is probably the best in women's basketball because I think LSU and South Carolina they're fantastic right now, right? And then gymnastics, probably SEC as well. The LSU and Auburn are crushing it in gymnastics, women's gymnastics. Golf, the ACC, right? So we'd have to do a tally there, but probably overall, I'm going to go with ACC, just kind of doing that tally there. But college football, which is probably the biggest one, Big Ten, not even close.
All right. Now, based off of what you said, I'm surprised you didn't say just SEC overall because it seems like the football belt, the basketball belt, the athletic belt for the U.S. lies in the South. No matter where you go, like from Texas on Southeast, that's where the champions are built. They'll probably transition to like California, anywhere else to play professionally, but that's where they're created. The SEC doesn't matter if it's basketball, doesn't matter if it's football, and any athletics. The SEC is where it's at.
All right. Some very good takes there. Very interesting. All right. Final question of this. Again, another haymaker. If you could full reset one team, who would it be? Now, here's how it goes. In order to full reset, you would fire everybody from the owner all the way down. Everybody gets fired, and you rehire them right now. Who would it be? I'm going to leave it off.
You rehire the same people, or you rehire from that positions?
Rehire from the positions.
Okay.
Like full reset.
Cool.
So I'm going to give my take. My take for a full reset.
And wait, is this NFL, NBA? What?
Let's make it difficult. Overall, any sport, any team, whoever you have, whoever you think needs a full reset because their team is that badly ran, you have the opportunity at this point to speak your piece. Because I'm going to speak mine right now. I'm going to look over here. I'm going to look at the camera real quick. Hold on. You said, can they relocate? No, they cannot relocate. No, I'm not going to give you that easy of a what's called. I'm not going to give you that easy of a question. No, they say in the same market that they're in right now. But I'm going to lead it off, and I'm going to look right into the camera. I'm going to give y'all my go, Nick, go approach. And so for my friends out there that know, y'all already know it's about to get real. Cleveland Browns, I am here to speak on you. If I could full reset a team, I am resetting your organization because there's no way you paid a man $285,000 to be as trash as they were. You barely had enough money to pay Myles Garrett. You don't have an offense. You don't have an identity. Your players have been getting injured. You've been trading away your best players. Like your team is not even a cesspool of the garbage juice dumpster rank that you've been in. Listen to me. The Cleveland Browns need a full reset from owner all the way down to the water boy. It is that badly ran because at the end of the day, your tickets are getting resold on eBay for a bag of potato chips at this point. Like, you don't have an identity. Who knows what you guys are going to do? Deshaun Watson is about to come back, and nobody knows what they're going to do. Right now, you don't even have a head coach, so y'all can start planning on what y'all want to do. I don't even know how you're going to hire a head coach right now. Honestly, what you need to do is you need to focus on either let's not even talk about the quarterback room. Figure out what you're going to do with your quarterback first. Then get your head coach situation straight. then tried to be an actual NFL player, NFL franchise. All right. Now, yeah, we got that done. I'm so sorry. That was past the minute. Y'all know it might go, Nick, go. Y'all know how I am about that. Woo, son. All right. Jordan, you're up next.
All right. Interesting, because I was going to go football base. I was going to go basketball base. You said relocation, but you're going to say you got to stick in the same city. Bummer. I'm firing everybody in Dallas Cowboys. I'm firing everybody, and I'm starting clean because even Jerry Jones, yes, because that will be the day. Even though I can't stand their fans, the day you fire everybody is the day and that starts the year that they will win the Super Bowl. Because I'm going to go from top up. I would hire Howie Roseman as the GM. I would probably hire one of the Waltons as the owner for the Broncos because they know how to run their money. I would put Mike Tomlin as the coach. I would put Mike McDaniel as the OC. I would have Brian Flores as probably the DC. And the quarterbacks, hell, let's keep Dak Prescott because he deserves to be there. He's been holding around every single time the Cowboys have been playing for the last couple of years, and I would start from there. And then I would consume. I would ask every single person that's a Cowboys fan. I would have a poll of which players you want in the positions, so that way, mind you, there's unlimited cap. You're going to have a team that will be there for years to come. And now that the Jones family will finally be gone, they will actually be able to win. They can finally understand what winning is like. That's my soapbox.
All right. So I think those were valid takes. I had a feeling that he was going to say Cowboys, which made me laugh immediately just from the concept of the idea. Because I'm usually the one going off for the Cowboys, but primarily just because I hate teams being overrated, like Bama. I think Bama is the Dallas Cowboys of college football. Just a thought. We just randomly throw grenades at Jordan out of nowhere. Just guys, like catch this, take this grenade real quick, right?
Who's that catch a stray?
The math that I'm seeing is that the Charlotte Bobcats need to be completely reset. Hornets, Bobcats, whatever the hell they're called. The team is Charlotte. They used to be the Bobcats. They were terrible then. They're terrible now. They was terrible. They've been terrible since Larry Johnson. They need to just cut bait, cut the franchise, cut everything. It ain't working, right?
There's one person they need to keep. Eric Collins, their commentator.
I'm cool with that. You can keep a commentator. If that's the best part of your
He's
team,
the best person on the franchise and the
that's the
whole organization.
best part of your team is the commentator, then that tells you that I'm not incorrect with what I'm saying, right?
How do you do? Yes, that guy.
I will tell you that they've made some terrible draft picks repeatedly. When they put Michael Jordan in charge of player personnel, they messed up everything. I don't know if he was a GM, if he was a player coach, if he was owner. I don't know what he was, but I know he made terrible mistakes, starting from Adam Morrison, moving on and on, right? And then when he was over there with the Wizards and playing for the Wizards, he was a bum playing for the Wizards. Not that this is here to bash Jordan, but you ask me who should be reset. It makes me think about Michael Jordan in that capacity. He was fantastic as a player. Should have never been in the position to judge player personnel. He's too hypercritical, and on top of that, he's not a good judge in that capacity. Outside of that, though, if that's NBA side, right? I think of all the teams, that's the team that comes to mind in NBA that needs to be just completely reset, taken down to the studs. If we went NFL, I might have gone. I could see what you had to say about the Browns. I think that's a really good point. I can see what you have to say about the Cowboys. That's a good point. My number one have to be reset to the studs, which I hate to say this because I actually like the hire of the coach before he got there, is the Jets. The Jets are horrendous. You know that they're the only team in NFL history that didn't get a single interception in the season?
None.
That is a wild statistic. The NFL has been around since before the 30s. They're the only team in the history of the NFL, including the 0-16 Lions, the 0-16 Browns, the 1 15 Browns right after that. The Browns were terrible for a long time. I'm sorry, Browns fans. Y'all just it's been rough for y'all. That's why I laugh at Steelers fans because they're like, we could be the Browns. Well, no, you can't. You don't want to be the Browns, right? So
Mike, I gotta add something to your
go
take though.
ahead.
You know the Jets are so horrible that Oregon quarterback Dante Moore decided to go back for another year. He said, "I'm going for that NIL money. Bump you, Jets."
So can I share with you? I know we're about to talk about the draft probably here in a second, so I don't want to jump the gun there. But I'll tell you my hot take. Dante Moore going back to college is a mistake. And we'll talk about it in the draft section here in a section. But I think 100% it's a mistake. And I'm going to give you my reasons here in a second. But I'd say the Jets and the Charlotte Hornets, Bobcats, or Wonderligs, whatever the hell they're called nowadays, they need to be taken down to the studs and just start all over. The foundation needs to be removed. They tell you in the Bible, say, if the foundation is removed, what would the righteous do? The righteous would get rid of the Jets and get rid of the Bobcats. That's all I got to say. But go ahead. Go ahead.
The only reason I didn't say NBA team was because I was going to put the Wizards and Virginia because they would be a Virginia team. They would have a strong military support base, support the troops. I could see the money rolling in, and they would be going crazy in Virginia. So that's why I was going to choose the Wizards. But you said one team, so I had to do the Dallas.
All right, let's get to this draft part. You know, I've been so excited, been chomping at the bit for this.
Y'all already know. All right. So the NFL season is still going on. We still got the playoffs out there. We've already covered that stuff on the last episode. We're going to the draft now. So with that being said, I have the top 5.
Which draft?
The NFL draft.
Oh, thank you.
I did say that. I hope I did. NFL draft is here. Well, the NFL playoffs are here, but the 2026 NFL draft is only a couple months away, 3 months probably to be exact. Top 5 teams are as follow: the Raiders, the Jets, the Cardinals, the Titans, and the Giants. Just to give some notes on stuff, Giants just finished hiring John Harbaugh. Titans are still without a head coach. Cardinals are still without a head coach. The Jets have a head coach in Aaron Glenn so far because they have not made a decision on whether or not they're going to keep him, but they ain't fired him, so we're going to assume he's there. And the Raiders, they currently have no head coach. So out of this, give me your overall assessment of the top 5. We'll go over just everybody else later on on another episode. But for right now, let's just go ahead with the synopsis of the top 5. What do you think they need to do? And how can we fix it? Mike, you got the enthusiasm. I'm calling on you.
You know me. This is my topic. Draft season is probably my favorite season of football, which is ridiculous because I'm a Steelers fan. But I always have to look forward to the draft because we keep getting eliminated first round of the playoffs. So I'm a draft aficionado for the past 10 years as we done not won a playoff game. But I digress. So that being said, top 5. Number 1, the Raiders have to get Fernando Mendoza. I think that's a slam dunk. It makes no logical or reasonable sense to not go Fernando Mendoza. I've done some mock drafting up there, and everything I've done indicates that Fernando Mendoza is the slam dunk pick. It doesn't make sense to trade back because they tanked. They, in essence, almost tanked. I don't know that they tanked. I don't want to call them tankers, but it did seem very, circumstantial, superstitious a little bit, whatever phrase you want to use, that they were losing these games that they potentially could have won. Geno Smith also looked horrible this season. He led the league in interceptions. Being that they just got Ashawn Genty, they have Brock Bowers from last year. They have an offensive core around him to actually have him succeed in year 1. Trading Jacoby Myers wasn't ideal in that capacity. They do have multiple other holes, but I don't think that especially with Dante Moore going back, the distance from quarterback 1 to quarterback 2 is too immense this year for them to pass up on the quarterback. Do I think he's generational? No, I don't actually. I think he's fantastic, but I don't think that he's generational as a quarterback, especially with the team that he's about to join, which is one of the worst teams in the history of the league, right? It has been historically for years and years. I don't know if they're going to put enough around him early enough for him to be who he could be. Look at what happened with Trevor Lawrence's career. Look at what happened with Kyler Murray, right? There's been a lot of these guys that were really hyped up. Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck was probably the best example there because he actually had the Colts as a competitive team. But when you go and look at the history of it, there's been a lot of bust at quarterback, oftentimes because they're not giving them enough time to succeed. The thing with Fernando Mendoza that I like is that he's older, he's experienced. He came from Cal, he transferred in, right? He probably has enough starts under his belt, but I don't think that he's dynamic of a player enough to lift the team enough to be Super Bowl contenders by year 2 or year 3. Right? I think they're going to have to put a lot around him in order for him to succeed, and it's really going to come down to the coach. I think that they're going to end up hiring Clint Kubiak to be the coach there. That's probably the best one there because that was where you have like an offensive guru, right there. I would even, interestingly enough, and I don't like this guy as a coach, but I think he'd be a fantastic offensive coordinator. Brian Dable as offensive coordinator there with Clint Kubiak leading the ship would actually be very impactful for the Raiders. So that's who I go number 1 overall. Number 2, you said number 2 is the Jets, right? Well, now that they're losing out on Dante Moore, this is why the mistake is made with Dante Moore, and I'll let you guys go after this. But this is why Dante Moore is making a mistake. We just talked about the Jets need to be stripped down to the studs. They didn't even get a single interception last season. You're going back to college, right? Let's just imagine that you have a phenomenal season again, and you're in the running to be the number 1 overall pick. Guess who's going to pick number 1 overall? The Jets. You just wasted all your time. So that's why I think that's a terrible pick, or a terrible option for him there. I don't think he's really going to avoid being with a team like that, right? But as far as who the Jets should pick now as a result, I would hope that they do not go Ty Simpson out of Alabama. I think that would be a waste to go that high in the draft. I think the draft grade I have on him is around 25. I think he'll probably go like number 15 realistically. But if he goes number 2, they're completely overplaying their hand. They're better off getting somebody in free agency. I think that they're probably going to be in the running to get somebody like Malik Willis, to get maybe Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones would be a perfect fit for the Jets, especially as a bridge quarterback there. So if they get the bridge quarterback in Mac Jones, number 2 overall, I think that they need to address that defense, which they've addressed the defense repeatedly, and I agree with that, and I understand that. But based upon the team and who's available, you either go wide receiver or you're going for that defensive line. For defensive line, I would go Ruben Bain, Miami defensive end there, number 2 overall. You said number 3 was who?
Number 3 is the Cardinals.
The Cardinals. So the Cardinals' issue right now is that Kyler Murray has not been Kyler Murray. That's honestly their issue there. But I think that their bigger issue is that their offensive line is not stout. Whether you kept Kyler Murray, got rid of Kyler Murray, kept Jacoby Brissett, or did not, you have to fix that offensive line. I think Francis Malga out of Miami or the Utah tackle goes there. Next one there, you had the Titans. All right. The Titans need a lot of help, but I think the Titans have to go wide receiver. I have Carnell Tate going number 4 overall to the Titans. You have to have somebody there for Cam Ward to actually build around and to play with, for him to actually have an opportunity to succeed. Calvin Ridley's been a complete bust there. And then number 5 is the Giants. Of course, the Giants are picking in the top 5, Marv. No, Marv's not here, but I have to talk smack to my brother because I've been trying to tell him for years. He tried to tell me one year that the Giants was the same as the Steelers. And ever since then, we've been at war because the Giants are trash. So because the Giants are trash, the number 5 pick, I think that they need to go. They don't need a quarterback. They don't need a running back. Going wide receiver there would make a lot of sense. I like Jordan Tyson there out of Arizona State. Or a better pick, which would probably make even more sense, but the Giants won't do it, would be Arvell Reese, the linebacker out of Ohio State. But I have the Giants going wide receiver. So that's my top 5 there. Back to y'all.
So on you, Jordan, what you got for me?
Okay, so as we know, the Raiders are sorry, Callie, but the Raiders are sorry, and their franchise is sorry, and they love taking gambles. Ironically, they in Vegas. Who knows what they're going to do from day to day? I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. They had an idea to take, let's say, Mendoza. I wish him the best. I will send them my regards because they don't have a foundation. They can't keep a coach to save their life. They should just reinstate John Gruden so that way he can get whatever they got going over there right. But if you need a quarterback, if you need somebody for them to love, the fans to love, get Mendoza. He'll be a glue guy. He'll be a guy that wants to prove himself for the few years to come. So him with Genty, with Bowers, and they'll probably get a receiver in the second round, or if they have another first round pick, they'll be fine. They just need to develop for a couple of years, get a few draft picks or early draft picks, and work from there. Now, as far as the abysmal Jets, dang, you couldn't even get an interception this year. That y'all haven't flown high in years. Like this was when the last time they made the playoffs was when I was in my sophomore year in college, and that's a long time ago. 2010. Good Lord, y'all, they sorry. It's crazy because the Achilles heel for the Jets is their field, not even the players. But that's another topic for another day. Um, Now, I would say since they have a quarterback that's from Ohio State and a receiver from Ohio State, I'll keep it within the family and go Carnell Tate from Ohio State. I didn't mean for that to rhyme. They need two receivers just to keep things honest and keep things fluid. I think the fact is Justin Fields really didn't have that good of a core around him to develop with, which is why he's been suffering. I mean, besides an O line as well, like he's been suffering wherever he goes. Nonetheless, I think Carnell Tate and Garrett Wilson could be a good duo, a young duo to take the Jets and have them finally flying high for the first time in a long time. Not in the cellar. That's the AFC East because the Patriots, the Bills are going nowhere fast, and the Dolphins are in limbo. And Mike McDaniel's gone, so who knows what they're going to do? Tyreek Hill's going to be gone. Tua's going to be gone. They're going to be competing for the bottom of the East. Now the Cardinals. So Kyler Murray's possibly going to be out. Jacoby Brissett's still probably going to be there. They're probably going to go quarterback in the second or third round to start, or they might pick up a free agent. But their problem has been their line, I think, in my opinion. They haven't had people that have been good for protection. That's why Kyler Murray's always getting injured because he has nobody to protect him. It's not because he's short, because Russell Wilson is short. He's been able to play for 10 plus years. And Kyler Murray's faster than Russell Wilson. So that's saying something. The line is terrible. It's been terrible since he's been drafted there because Kyler Murray's been one of my favorite quarterbacks, especially using it in fantasy. Won a season with him there. But nonetheless, I think the O-line, they need Maigoa out of Miami. I think I may have butchered the name. Forgive me. Just a huge dude that can protect them, tackle, put him probably on the left side so way he won't be getting blitzed all the time. I think that'll work for them right there. Now, the Titans, I would love for them to go two running backs. Make things interesting. A lot of RPOs for Cam Ward, Tony Pollard, I think is still there, and go for Love out of Notre Dame. Jeremiah Love, he can do a bit of everything. Now, imagine having two Le'Veon Bells in the backfield, and you're Cam Ward. Like I said, the amount of RPOs that you could do would be insane. And if the O-line can be bolstered and protect you, you'll have your receivers. I think they could be a bit of a dark horse next year if they play their cards right. I think they started to make some traction at the end of the season, and they look better than they did in the beginning because Cam Ward was horrible in the beginning. He started to get better as time went on. But I think he started to finally get his legs under him, which is a promising sign. And number 5, I think the Giants with John Harbaugh are going to bolster their defense because that's been their MO for the past couple of years. They're probably going to go out of Ohio State and pick up Caleb Downs. They have another safety in the backfield that could do some damage. They already got Tibbs. They already got Carter. I think they might also pick up an edge, some edge that wants to prove themselves. I just think they're just going to bolster up their defense so that way no one can get past them. I think offense-wise, they have everything they need when it comes to Jackson Dart. That's their future. You got Scat as their Scat Pack as their running back. Once they both fully heal and once they learn how to play with their heads and not their actual heads, I think they'll be good to go. But I think Caleb Downs will just make everything a nightmare for the receivers, like whoever he's covering. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, we might have to cancel you for that comment about using their heads versus using their heads. Like, I don't know. I might have to cancel you on that one, bro.
I mean, come on. That's why they got injured in the first place. Scatterbo was always running headfirst into the defenders, and he getting concussions, getting hurt, and Jackson Dart do the same thing. That's why they were doing so horrible this year.
Nah. But let's go ahead and get this looked at. Of course, number one, Las Vegas Raiders. Y'all have already touched on it enough. I think they do go quarterback number one because they need a quarterback. You have Genty, you have things available. Go quarterback number one and then invest in your offensive line. You also need to convince Max Crosby to stay. Like, I don't know how you're going to do it because you done pissed the man off because he wants to be competitive. You're either going to have you're going to have to convince that man somehow to stay. I don't know how you're going to do it, but you're going to have to convince him. But then outside of that, get your offensive line so that way you can protect that man. Mike alluded to getting Mendoza, but you're going to need some protection from him one way or another. You got the New York Jets next. They've already been banished to the shadow realm from Mike. Of course, same thing. They're going to, theirs is mainly on defense because we're going to continue talking about the 0 interception season. Like, no interceptions is absolutely egregious work. You do need to have a defense in order to help this. Your special teams have been putting you in some great positions, and then your defense just caves and loses the game for you. So they just need to be targeting defense, especially edge rusher, cornerback, and safety. They need it. Especially with trading away Sauce Gardner, you definitely need that cornerback help. The Cardinals, they're going to need a quarterback. Nobody to start, though. So I do believe this benefits the Cardinals. I don't see them drafting a quarterback first because, like Mike said, the difference is egregious, and they're going to need a quarterback to learn first. They need a quarterback to learn because you have not Tua, good Lord. You have what is his name? I haven't seen him in a while. Kyler Murray. You have Kyler Murray. They paid him the $208 million. He hasn't performed up to standard, but you draft a quarterback in order to that way protect your future, so that way when it's time to go, it's time for him to go, and he'll be ready to go. You also need to kind of bolster up both lines, offense and defense. I don't think they need wide receiver help because they have two good receivers in MHJ and Mike Wilson. So I don't think they need wide receiver help. I do think they do need to help out in the trenches. Number 4, Tennessee Titans. You have the quarterback of the future in Cam Ward. Help them on offensive line. To help with all of this, all the top 5 needs offensive line help. Titans do need like one of those star wide receivers, and you might get it in this draft. You might not. It just depends. And then, of course, an edge rusher or a linebacker to just improve your pass rush and versatility on defense. New York Giants coming in at number 5, rounding it out. You got John Harbaugh that's coming in there. He's going to make some changes. You have the quarterback. You have the running back. Just help get some cornerback safety and some receivers. They need some receivers. You got Darius Slayton, and he's dropping everything. I don't know who's dropping it more, Darius Slayton or CeeDee Lamb or A.J. Brown, or I don't know who's doing it. And I'm sorry, AJ. Yeah, him too. Like, I don't know what to tell the Giants need receiver help. Like, and nobody that's old. They need some young receivers that can go get the ball. Like, they need some receiver help because they have the rushing attack to help set the tone and the pace of things. But without receiver help, it gets bad. And before I move on, AJ Brown, if you ever see this thing, I apologize for that, but you had those egregious drops. I had to throw that out there. All right. With that, that wraps up another episode of the Squad Sportcast. That's going to be our final whistle for today. But the game never really ends. Thank you for spending time with us, sharing your opinions, your passion, and a love for the sports that goes beyond the scoreboards. If you like what you heard, subscribe, follow, join in on the conversation. Until next time, stay competitive, stay curious, keep loving the game. This is Squad Sportcast. We'll see you all in the next play.